I've decided to do 100 days in Minecraft Legacy Console Edition. So I started with cutting down some trees. As always, you always need to cut down your trees. After making some wooden materials, I decided to dig out an area like this so I could build a house. The idea is, and I will show you about this time-lapse video, the idea was to create a hole in the ground and I would dig a house out into a hole and we would get some coal in the process, which we found on this clip. And we got 35 from that, I think. And to get some more wood because we need to replenish. And I've started getting some sand and filling in the I started getting some sand and then filling in the glass, putting some glass in here. And this is so we can build a house. Actually build the house underneath. I decided to live underground, so it would, well, so it looks a quiet area. The problem was we didn't have a lot of sand, so we were having to do bit by bit. The idea is at the moment is that we're going to have a wooden area around here. This is where the ladders will go, so the ladder down will go. And actually, instead of doing that, we're going to make some fences around it, I think. Yep. So put one of these, and eventually we'll make 4 gates, and that is where everything will go. Right. Yep. And yes, then what we need to do is we need to create some gates and get some more glass so we can need to go and get some more trees, so we'll quickly chop this tree down. And yep, and we'll cut a couple more down. We'll cut this one down as well, just so we can get enough wood to actually do the right, we will need to cut down lots of trees. And to be sustainable, we will also be planting a lot of trees. And there we go. We've got 4 gates. Sorry, not fences, gates. And we've got 9 more bits of glass. So now, obviously, we're now going to finish off. I'm going to put the wood down here, so basically we've got a flooring. And yeah, so the next thing to do after this is to put the walls in, which the walls are going to be oak and sandstone. So it'll be oak across the bottom. So yeah, we're going to do it. In fact, we'll rob that coal, fill that bit in, and then we'll go through, and then we will get some oak, and then the oak will go around here like that, and then using the sandstone that we've got, which we didn't have enough, so I have to go back to that at a later day. I've decided to go and get some extra wood and fall into a lake apparently in 2 seconds time, because apparently in order to get more sand I decided to make a quarry. So I went through and I built out a little ditch and where we can get sand more effectively, and using that we were able to finish the thorn. We had to kill this sheep, and you're not excluded, neither you other sheep, neither is this one. And using that we could now create a bed and we could get off to sleep and get ready for day 7. On day 7 we decided to turn the old and unuseful quarry into a farming location and decided to go and get a bit of extra coal on day 9 and 8. On day 10 we did more of the same. We needed to make sure we got lots of equipment, and on day 11 we got some food, and then it was back to mining on day 11, on the rest of day 11. On day 11, the rest of day 11 we went went and did a bit more farming, and then on day 12 we started building a massive mining system that could work really effectively. And as we were digging down, we found a huge chunk of coal and some lapis. In fact, we can see some gold and some lapis, which is really effective. That we need lots of lapis, and there's some iron, or useful things. Using this, we've been able to get iron tools really quickly, and we found some emeralds, which is, in fact, we just got to make sure that we get all this gold as well, because we need lots and lots of gold, and for all the things that we want to achieve. And across this entire 100 days, we found lots and lots of iron and gold. This area is completely rich for it. In fact, let's go and get another emerald, and boom. Going across here, we found a diamond! And then just breaking that just to make sure there's nothing underneath it. Found a diamond. We have found 3 diamonds. And another piece of emerald we found, and lots more gold. Yeah, if we quickly get rid of this, then we can quickly check and get all that gold. As I said, we found this entire area is so rich for gold. And we found a few more diamonds a little bit further down. And we fell through a rail, found more gold, and we then found more lapis, and made sure that lava did not kill us, as that would be really painful and really bad. Oh, a chest. Hey, we found some lapis, bit of coal and torches. That's really useful stuff. In fact, if we quickly get rid of that, the coal's actually useful. The gold pickaxe, the iron pickaxe, and that's kind of useful. And we found some more lapis, that's definitely what we needed. We needed more. We find some beetroot seeds. That's quite useful. More variety for the farm, and melon seeds. Right, if we can get rid of some useless stuff, and then we're going to take those melon seeds, and the first thing we're going to do quickly is make sure that there's more wheat. So we're going to go and start replenishing our supplies, and then after that we'll hopefully plant our new stuff. Now, yep, using this, I do hope to make a farm eventually, if we can get sheep, some cows, potentially some pigs. Yeah, so that we've got to make sure that we get all this wheat out. And there's only a certain section left which hasn't been de-wheated yet. On day 16, I decided to make a hole in the centre of our house, and I decided to speed this up, where I decided to build a nether portal. My shovel broke, so I had to do it by hand. And it took hours like this. It took absolutely donkey years to do. And then we used the diamond pickaxe that we had just created to dig out a space big enough to be able to actually use a nether portal. Getting rid of all these stone parts, we began to actually use the nether portal. it took us a while to actually work out how to use it. Originally, I was going to do it with using a water bucket and lava bucket to do it, but it didn't work, so we decided to do it the old-fashioned way. We're going to get rid of that so it's got something nice at the other side rather than dirt and stone. On day 18 we actually went into the Nether. The problem is, though, we had spawned in a deep cave and we had to actually dig our way out, spiral our way out of it with stairs. So on day 20 we finally finished making the stairs, and on the day 21 we went and did a bit of mining. We did this for the next few days. It took us days to build. On day 23 and 24 we've continued, and we actually made it to the portal on searching through the Nether Fortress, which took a few days. We went through, found out stuff that we need, that very useful stuff, and then we went back. On day 27 we continued with the mining. We go in creating the new mining system that we had been creating a few days earlier. In this time lapse that we've done shows this extent of the mining that when we were mining out the this will become really useful in later days. We did intend to fight the Nether down there. The problem was we now needed a chest room, as there was we had too much stuff. So I dedicated the time with that today, building that. We had to make the roof slightly lower over here because the sea was kind of above it. And I think you can see that's where the sand starts appearing. That was a major issue. So on day 34 I started putting signs down, so storage room, Nether portal. Portal room. Not that I would have needed signs to remember where it all was. It's always good to do. On day 35 I decided that I now needed a bedroom. And this was a major problem, as this way also went under a river. It went under the river and we had numerous issues of where the water was starting to come in. So instead I come up with this genius idea to build the room one block lower, which meant that this wasn't a problem with the water. However, because of that we couldn't put a roof across it, so instead the roof would remained dirt. We even found some iron in the floor. After carefully removing that iron, we put in the wooden floors and removed the bed. And put some chests in. On day 41 I decided to put a hole through my floor. Through my roof. Through my floor, sorry. And I wanted to build a super smelter. Using hoppers. On day 42 I decided to farm. And for the rest of day 42 I wanted to get some obsidian. I needed 4 obsidian, so we could create a Nether portal. No, not a nether portal. We were so lucky there. Yeah, so on day 42, not a nether portal, sorry, an enchantment table. I had already... Making this was one of the hardest things, so we made the enchantment table and then we dug out a room for it. So we dug out a room for it. The next thing I had to do was get some sugar cane so we could have some bookshelves around it. We then put these bookshelves around it, and I put some oak here to make it look like it was pillars, and then added sandstone in. And we then added that. And we now had the ability to enchant weapons and tools. On day 46, I decided to do a bit of farming, and then I enticed these 2 sheep into the pen, and then I made them have babies. I'd done this a few days earlier to the sheep, to some cows, and I now gave them magenta dye. No, purple, sorry. I gave them purple dye. And I found this guy in the room at day 50, and on day 51 I decided to just go to bed and not do much. I did a bit of sheep shearing. And on the rest of day 52, I saw this guy, so I decided to give him a helping hand, and I spent most of the day pushing Polly the pigman back into the nether portal. This is the old pigman. Some of you probably weren't playing Minecraft when this one existed, because this one, it's been 4 or 5 years since this one's they got rid of the pigman. It's now called the piglin, and they changed the texture, or zombified piglin. Yeah, the zombie pigman. I still wish they didn't take it out. They could have kept him. On day 53, I decided to farm. I make sure these sheep actually had some pens. I sheared some sheep, and I made sure that they had babies so we could have some more. We could have more sheep. I then decided to go and make sure these cows had other cows. I then went in to fill this. I found a naturally recurring brown sheep, so I decided to invite him to be part of the family. I then couldn't get out of the pen. I got some more purple so I could make the finish off the flooring. Then went and took these torches away so we could put some in here. So we could put a few more in here. Just went to kill some cows to get some beef and some leather, and this one did a little funny dance, and it's done. We now then made these sheep have babies again, and we killed this skeleton, sorry. We also killed this creeper, and we tried to, and this one blew up. And this creeper was the most annoying creeper in the world. Every time I tried to move over there, basically he kept following, and it got to a point that he was one side and then a zombie was the other. So yeah, this creeper's looking at me trying to explode. I'm this way, and then I noticed that there's a zombie that way, and it's ridiculous. And eventually, I somehow managed to kill them both. And I was also stuck in the corner because all these sheep were around me, and yeah. On day 59, we had got out of that situation for the day before, and I decided to go and replenish our beetroot farm because we needed to to regrow, replenish, to make sure that we actually had enough food. And then I was attacked by a witch. I then put a stake through her and got on with the rest of my day. She dropped me some redstone, which was very nice of her. I then waited for my health to go back up, and then decided to cull the sheep, to cull the cows, and then replenished the sheep, and went and enchanted my tools. I had plans to go and I climbed up to take down this massive tree. It was that massive I had to climb up. With some of the logs that I chopped, I had to climb up to actually, finish off chopping the tree down. So it took a while. It took a really, really long time, but eventually we got about 45 logs from the tree itself. I then we sheared a lot of the leaves as well, and then which we intended to use on another project. On day 63, I decided to go mining again with my new enchanted tools, which wasn't exactly the best idea, as I nearly fell in lava, but I didn't, so it was all good. I stood there for a while, and I planned my routes. I decided to do a lot of mining this day. On day 64, I continued this massive mining program. I did a lot of strip mining and found lots of found lava, which on day 65, which wasn't exactly good. I found this, and then I took this away, and then I found some diamonds, which was very, very useful for us. Across this entire mining spree over the next few days, I found, I believe, 25 diamonds, and we found ridiculous amounts of coal. As far as I know, I think with iron as well, we found 3 stacks. We found three full stacks of iron, and I think about 23 full stacks. We found more diamonds, and after finding all these diamonds, I believe at the time we had about 16. On day 70, it was more of the same, where we were just mining days and days on end, trying to make sure that we were finding lots of redstone and diamonds, and all. We had about 25 diamonds by the end of the mining trip. As I said, we found crazy amounts of iron over the next few days. In fact, I decided to go and just get every ore possible, so as well that we can up our XP level. I think we got the XP level at one point to 35 just by mining. We found more diamonds. On day 76, we found a lot more diamonds. I think this was a wad of 8 or 6, I think. On day 77, I decided to make a mob spawner. So the plan was, I made a hole in the middle, then 8 by 8 away from it, and then I put cobblestone down the sides, and then started to fill it up. Eventually, by the end of day 77, it all added up. And we had an actual plan of what we were going to do on day 78, so we filled in the framework that we made on the day prior, and then we raised the roof, raised the walls, and then filled in the roof. Then we went to sleep, and I'll see you all on day 79. On day 79, we went back in and we made an infinite water source, so we could actually make this mob spawner actually work. The idea is we put two waters here in both corners, then we put one there, 4 in those bits. So basically, the water would take you in one direction down the middle. On day 80, we dug down about 28 blocks, and we found a cave system underneath here. The problem was we needed to get rid of that and get all this off. I decided to get all this iron, so I thought that'd be pretty useful for us in the long haul. I started blocking. On day 81, I finished blocking off that cave, and then I built a ladder up to the surface so we could actually get to our mob spawner service center. I managed to get one dog. Our mob spawner wasn't working, and I watched this YouTube video and I saw a comment, and I can't remember who put the comment, but it said, "Oh, if your mob spawner doesn't work." I watched this video on mob spawners, and it said, "Oh, if it doesn't work, it might be there's caves underneath that need lighting up." So basically, we're going to have to lighten up this cave. All the caves around here, we're going to have to lighten them all up. On day 84, I've actually found out that all the our 2 caves that we've actually made are all one cave. We found a few diamonds. I was hit by a spider, but skeleton. I was hit by a skeleton, and I don't know where he's from. But we'll find out eventually. Why do I keep saying spider? It's a skeleton. Yes, so we also found this mine shaft system that also connects to the massive cave system that we found. We found some coal, and we found more gold. This area is the king for gold. We found even more coal on day 87. This was the craziest cave I've ever seen. We found so much stuff from it. On day 88, it was more of the same. It was just like, this was really just like taking things from these caves, or to the cave, but it was also about lighting the caves up. So that's why we're placing so many torches, is because we need all these caves lit up, because if they're not lit up, it means that the mobs... It means that's why our mob spawner isn't working. I wish I'd known that years ago, all those years ago. So I was always wondering why my mob spawner wasn't working. I built a massive mob spawner, and I was always wondering why it wasn't working. And it was probably because there was caves underneath it, but I didn't know that. In fact, someone should mention that in a YouTube video. So I don't think up until I saw this person's comments on a video about mob spawners, I would not have known that you had to... Well, it said that's probably why people build them in the sky or something. I did not know that, so perhaps that's a video idea for the future. I sheared some cobwebs, found a mob spawner, and I decided to leave in peace, so the spiders don't come after me. I did that entire area, getting those iron. I then went to the super smelter and put all the iron and gold in and left it to smelt. I then went back to our mob spawner to see if it was actually working, and it was actually working. Wasn't dropping a lot though, which probably meant there was a lot more stuff needed under there. On day 93, I tamed another dog. I'm going to call that dog 94. I'm going to call him 94. Because I got him on day 94. I don't know what the other dog, I'm just going to call him Samuel or something. He's not going to have a special name. On day 95, I decided to unsegregate the cows and the sheep, because cows were getting into the sheep pen and sheep were getting into the cow pen, so I decided to just let them roam about. On day 95, I decided to build a pyramid on top of the mob farm. This was my plan all along, to build a massive pyramid on top of the mob farm. Because I thought that the cobblestone was an eyesore, so I decided, I'm going to build on the top, I'm going to build a pyramid. The plan is as well, if we can, we will kill the wither in a minute. It took a few hours to actually get this pyramid correct. But eventually, on day 97, we finished this pyramid plan. And I'm aware there's nothing inside it, but there will be. I'm going to build an iron beacon in here. I don't have the beacon yet. That's the next part that we need. Yeah, the next part of this is what we need is the beacon. And it is finished in here. And yeah, we had to go to get we needed some soul sand. We had 3 wither skeletons, and we went and enchanted our tools from fishing, from enchanted books that we were able to get through fishing, and ones that we were able to do. We went and decided to look for some soul sand, which I then saw some over there, which I noticed there was some here, so I went down with my shovel and I shoveled some out. I shoveled loads out. I went to leave and then I noticed that there was loads more there, so I decided to pick it all up. So then I ran back, and on day 99 I decided to actually fight the wither. We had to get rid of this bit of stone first though. And the battle commences. I brought some TNT with me, so I thought, alright, I'm going to blow up the wither. And the problem was that eventually I dropped the flint and steel, and we were only able to use about 9 of the actual TNT. After a hard fought battle, which I almost died a few times, and in fact I did die twice. I lost so much XP from this. In fact, I got down to half a heart again, and I had to run away. But I then had my bravery and my courage, and I went straight to battle. We got the Wither Star, and on day 99, with only 1.5 hearts remaining, I went to bed, and on day 100, we made that beacon. We put it in, and we got strength. We then looked proud at what we'd done for the last 100 days. and I looked at our beacon.